Hey guys, Charles from Halt's Boots here, and today I'm going through my entire review of the Copa Pure Plus. Alright guys, we're gonna go ahead and unbox these, and actually it's gonna be more of like an unbagging because my friend had a pair size 9 and he didn't have the box, but they were brand new, so I couldn't really turn it down. And it is this nice, just bright white color, and I really do like this whiteout boot. If we look at this drawstring bag, it's just a typical Adidas drawstring bag. It's mesh, it's got the Copa logo, and it has the little Adidas symbol here. So I did really enjoy the 0.1 version of the Copa Pure. I like that they went back to this Nemesis sole plate. I think it performs really, really well on all surfaces and all like 4G, turf, everything like that. So I'm excited to use this again. I don't know how the lockdown's gonna be on these. I haven't worn a pair of laceless Copas before, and I just don't know how well they'll do. I don't think that this lockdown will maybe like improve the boot, but I don't think it'll make it worse either. It's really just kind of comparing, does the laceless boot have the same kind of lockdown as the lace version, and which pair should you get? At least that's kind of how I'm gonna approach the review for these boots, is just, is the laceless Copa as good as the laced version, or should you just stick with the lace version, which is, you know, $40, $50 cheaper? Looking at this boot, you can kind of see this like pearlescent kind of glow almost from the lights. And I think that was the name of this pack, was like the pearlescent pack. They did these in white, the accuracies in white, and the speed portals in white. So it's basically like all white here. You have all white, you know, stripes and sole plate, and then almost like an eggshell off-white color with just this like pearlescent coating, which really kind of just tops it off. The only thing that sucks is wearing these on turf and wearing these outside, they're gonna get dirty, and I'm never a person who really stresses about cleaning their boots, just because I did that before. And I found that when I first started cleaning boots and was stressing over it, always keeping my boots clean, I think that I just cleaned them too much and just scrubbed too much, that it just caused them to separate super quickly. So maybe I'll give them like a little wipe down, but these boots won't be white for long. All right, so we're just gonna take a look at the insole here, and it's just kind of got that suede, soft feeling material on it, and then it has the Copa logo. It's just like silvery, and then it has just Pure at the bottom right here, Pure Plus actually, if you can see that. And we saw in the past with most Copas, at least with the 19 and 20, and I think even the sense that it kind of had a padding right here, and I really like a padding on the heel. I don't know why. With my 11 Pro insoles, I just love that it's like this soft plush feeling right here in this little like pad, and that's one thing that I think makes the 11 Pro so great, is that padding. So for them to kind of get rid of that on the Copa, I'm not really skeptical because I haven't worn the Copas a whole lot, but it is kind of interesting that they would do that, because it kind of felt like it was almost part of the Copa identity the last few years. And then if we look at the sole plate, it is that Nemesis sole plate. It kind of just has like almost half moon style studs, I guess you can call them. Not quite conical, but almost like they just cut a circle in half. And it is a really good sole plate. It is pretty rigid. There's not a lot of bend to it, which I think will really help this boot. There's not a lot of, I mean, there is snapback, but you can't really bend the boot that much. So it definitely is a more solid sole plate that's not really flexible, but really gives you kind of a sturdy feel. It doesn't really twist. So that is kind of nice to have on a laceless boot, knowing that at least you're gonna have a very sturdy sole plate. So overall, going into this on-feet review and kind of just testing these out, I'm really only looking to see how well this lockdown is. I'm also gonna be concerned about comfortability as well as the sizing and how my toe will sit in here. I did in the past think that you needed to go half a size down when it came to wearing laceless boots, but the more I've worn laceless boots these past couple months, I really think that you could stick with your same size. Maybe you can get away with going half a size down, but I've always found that I wasn't able to go half a size down. I just couldn't get my foot in the boot. So I went with my typical size 9, and that's another thing I'm just gonna look for, is to see how well does it fit with that size 9 instead of going down to like an 8.5. So we're really just looking for how well does it fit in the toe, how well is that lockdown gonna hold when I'm cutting, playing, etc., and how long is this gonna stay white? Because I don't imagine this will stay white very long. I think it's gonna get pretty dirty. And then I guess just kind of seeing how this extra padding and kind of the boot feels without the tongue and without the laces here. So I'm gonna go ahead these next few days, get some training sessions in, play a few games, play some pickup, and just kind of see how I like these boots overall. And then we're gonna get into the rest of the review, like the tech specs and everything else.
Hey guys, real quick, before we go any further into this video, make sure you check out our website, haltsboots.com, where we have tons of boots ranging from retro to the newer models. So head over there, use discount code YouTube for 5% off your next purchase.
All right guys, so it's been a few days, almost a week. I've been to a few practices, played a couple games in these,
And to be honest, they're pretty decent. One thing I had coming into this was I was curious about the lockdown. Would it be the same or different than the Copa Pure Point 1 with the laces? And is going true to size with these boots good? Well, true to size, or should I have gone a half size down? And so right off the bat, I can tell you guys, these boots do lock down pretty well. I didn't have any issues of my boots slipping out of the boots during games, even when I was stepped on. A couple tackles, cutting pretty hard, just a couple turns and whatnot. Didn't have any issues with these coming out. And so that was pretty good for the lockdown. I also kept my size 9. So I wore these in a size 9, wore the Copa Point 1s in a size 9, and they fit just fine. So I would not recommend going down a half size. Again, I do have a wider foot, so maybe that's different. Maybe you would need to go down half a size, but I felt that the toe, there wasn't really a lot of room, if any. It just felt pretty snug on my foot overall. So I'm gonna kind of debunk that myth of going down half a size. However, though, just take that with a grain of salt because it is my opinion. So like I talked about, the lockdown is pretty good on these boots. I would say that if you're looking for a more secure lockdown, laces are definitely the way to go. There's just no way, at least yet, that you can really have a boot that has no laces, get that same lockdown as a laced boot. There's just so many more points of contact. You can make sure that the boot really just hugs your foot when you're tightening up those laces. And I think laces kind of allow you to have a bit of a looser fit or a snugger fit. And for most part, I always prefer snug fit, and I know most other people like it. At least a bit of firmness on their lacing system. So keeping to my same size, like the 9, wearing these instead of going half a size down was the right call. Like I said, I do think these are pretty comfortable as well. They are, mostly a calfskin leather upper here, so that allows for them to stretch a bit. They were not as wide as the Tiempo 9. I did just slip right into these into a training session with my team. We just did 2 hours of a session, and I kind of found that I didn't really have too much pain. I did feel some hot spots out wide, I don't know if you can see, but I've already stretched this boot out a little bit. And I didn't mind it. And it's always expected to have a little bit of hot spots. I didn't really have that with the Tiempo 9 at all. They just fit my foot pretty well. This boot did too after it stretched out after the first 30, 40 minutes. I really didn't have any issues. Wore it the next day in a game and practice, and again, had almost no issues there. So it does fit pretty well. I don't think if you have a narrow foot, you'll have an issue with it being too loose. I think it'll still hold your foot well, but having a wide foot, I wanna say almost gives a little bit more of an advantage because you're stretching the boot out and just forcing it, almost to go wider like this, which isn't gonna make it easier to slip off your foot. Whereas if you have laces, then in your narrower foot, you'll be able to lock down a bit more.
All right, so actually we ended up losing the last couple minutes of footage somehow. I don't know if it got deleted or whatnot. No big deal, I'm just gonna finish the review. It's like just a few days later. I know exactly what I said, so I'm just gonna jump back into the review. The touch and feel with the Copa Pure Plus, I actually really did like. I really just like this upper. You feel like you get a better connection with the ball. I was at practice playing small-sided, just every time I went to hit a shot, I just felt like my connection was so clean with the ball. And that's something I really enjoy when I have a pair of boots, is just how well that connection feels, like the ball to upper connection. And the Copa Pure Plus really nailed that. They nailed it so well with the Copa Pure Plus that I actually think it's better than its laced version. However, that doesn't mean that just because it has laces, it's a worse boot. I just feel like you get a better feel overall. Maybe it's 10 or 15% more. So nothing super crazy, but noticeable enough to where when you're striking the ball, it just feels really well, whether it's passing, shooting, receiving a ball, taking a touch out of the air, just everything about it I really like. In terms of durability, I did have an issue with the Copa Pure Point 1 where I just got cleated or studded, and it wasn't really a big deal. It's gonna happen any boot, but actually if you could see here with the Copa Pure Plus, I did catch my toe in the ground. I went to hit, I think like a laced pass or something, and just stuck my toe in, and I didn't even realize till after the game was over, but I definitely just tore the toe a little bit, which kind of stinks because I wore these like five or six times total and just testing them. And already having a rip like that really doesn't make me feel great about the boot. I mean, I paid pretty much just under retail for these, so probably what, like $230. I think these retail like $275 maybe. And still paying that much and your boots rip that quick when it's a non studded like tear, like when nobody's like stepped on you or anything like that. It is kind of a bummer. So I would want to say, as long as you're not kicking the ground, there's no real signs of separation, but there actually is a super tiny one here. You can see it's kind of like black line, I hope, and it's just not really something I like about this. So maybe the durability for these isn't that good. I do have a friend who's been wearing these for probably like 2.5, 3 months now. He's got the black version, and I don't think he has any rips or tears in his, but maybe I just got a defect. Who really knows? So overall, I would say if you're gonna go with the Copa Pure Plus or 0.1. I think it would really just come down to lockdown versus touch on the ball. I think when you get the laced version, you're just sacrificing just a little bit for the feel on the ball, at least on the upper of your foot, which is not like a game changer. You can still feel the ball, but just with those laces, like I said, just a little bit less contact you can feel. And if you want to go for more like touch and comfortability, I would say that the Plus is probably the better option. However, it seems like the durability is not as good, and the lockdown is just maybe slightly less. I will do a full in-depth review on laceless boots versus laced boots in the next couple weeks, just so you can kind of, just so I can kind of compare and show you guys exactly what else is going on. Overall, I'm giving them an 8.1 out of 10. Pretty decent rating. I mean, they're a good boot, they're comfortable, they're good for wide feet, they don't take too long to break in. They do have a little bit of a durability issue, it seems, but you know, maybe I just got a bad pair. Overall, like I said, pretty solid boot. So there you guys have it, my entire in-depth review of the Copa Pure Plus. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.